Right, thank you. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for turning up in such big numbers. It's indeed a privilege to be able to share with everyone on a bright Saturday morning, something close to everyone's heart, which is property market. Topic given to me is to speak on HDB, but I just want to clarify, it doesn't mean that DRA only does HDB property. It's just that statistically, out of every 10 HDB resale transactions, we account for about 4 to 5, all right, in the market. So the statistics that we have and the things that we see are pretty reflective of what's the market. Having said that, we are very strong in private residential also. In fact, if you look at our business transaction last year, I think we are quite balanced. About 50% of the transaction volume that our company does comes from private residential, and the other half comes from HDB resale. So we are quite a balanced company. All right. So later when we have the panel discussion, just feel free to ask questions also about private property. I'll be able to take them. Okay, so let's talk about something very close to our heart, which is HDB flats. And you find that this is a very, very hot button topic. In fact, in the past few days, I was having meetings with HDB, right, which on what's the market feedback and all that. I think it's a big concern of the government. Okay, so the topic given to me is HDB topic: buy, sell, or hold. All right, actually, why? Because I think essentially we want it all. HDB flats are actually for owner occupation, right? And officially they are not for investment. Okay, of course, investment returns are very, very good. So it doesn't stop people from renting out their HDB flats. And then, but the reality of it is this: 83% of the Singapore population stays in HDB flat, and who wants to hold on to a HDB flat, which will make them lose money? So the reality is we want it all. Okay, we want to, when we buy, and over time, we want the asset to appreciate in value. All right, so that's the key line. So there's this question about when is the best time to buy HDB flat, or when is the best time to buy a property. It's always the question that's asked, right? Even though someone is buying for owner occupation, it doesn't mean that they do not expect their property to appreciate over time. Okay, so this is the agenda for this morning. We will evaluate the current market situation. Why are we in such a state? Okay, why are we in such a situation today? The latest measures and their possible impact on the resale HDB market. Then we will attempt to gaze at the crystal ball and see what's going to happen at least for this year and beyond. And then we'll look at property hotspots. Whether you are buying a HDB flat or you're intending to buy a private property, I think these are directions that we can perhaps take note of. Okay, so that's the simple agenda for this morning's talk. Okay, I'm given half an hour to do this. Okay, I'm going to show you a lot of numbers initially. Please don't analyze until paralyzed. Okay, so just to give you a picture of the situation today. Based on the latest land use plan report that was just published last week, we can come to, it has come to light that today we have about 1.2 million units of residential property, of which 75% or some 900,000 units are HDB flats. These are completed stock as at today. Of course, there are more under construction. And if we were to do a projection by 2016, we are looking at over 1 million HDB flats and close to 400,000 private residential units. This will bring the total stock to about 1.4 million. And of course, 2030, which is the target year, right? this is not in the land use report, but it's based on extrapolation. Okay, so estimated we will have 1.9 mil residential properties, of which about 1.3 is estimated to be HDB flats, and private property will essentially double in volume by then. Okay, so this is the situation going ahead. Okay. Now, if you can remember, or if you are aware, I think everyone is aware, HDB is on the aggressive. There has been piling new flats, introducing new flats into the system since 2010, and over the last 3 years, 69,000 new flats have been introduced into the market. The aim is to make at least the first home of Singapore citizens, eligible households, affordable. So there's a promise to build 23,000 flats this year. So it's quite certain that the 23,000 will happen this year. So it's, but going forward, what I want everyone to know, because there is this concern in the market that will there be an oversupply, the way the government is wanting flats, so many flats at one go in so many locations. All right, there's a story behind this. Why are they playing catch up now? Is because since 2005 they slowed down the building program. Later I'll show you a chart, and you will see why, what that has caused to the resale market. So anyway, not to be alarmed, overly alarmed, the BTO program, as it's called, built to order, is a scalable program. That means they can step it up, again they can tune it down if there is a perceived oversupply. So it's a not a do or die mission that everything must be sold and everything must be launched. But of course, based on numbers that have been released to the public, we are expecting 23,000 this year. Okay, but despite the huge amount of new flats that has been launched, okay, you look at the resale price index of HDB properties is quite alarming, right? We are now at an all-time high in the history of HDB resale, and over the past 3 years, HDB prices have gone up by 35% on the average. Okay. I use the fourth quarter index to plot this graph, so it's a bit exaggerated, but it's the real picture. Okay, of course, official media will usually use quarterly, so it's the curve is a bit flattened. Okay, but the story is the same. Okay. So anyway, this is the problem now. Economic growth is slowing down. Okay, since a big jump of 14 points, the red curve is economic growth, and the blue curve is the price growth of resale flat. Look at if economic growth since a big jump in 2009 to 14.8%, economic growth has slowed down to about 1.3% for 2012. And if you look at the blue line, HDB resale price, which is public housing prices, is trading at above economic growth. All right, so that actually instigated the government to take action early this year. Okay, they have removed this statistic from the HDB website, but we as agencies still track this because it is our little index of the direction of things to come. Median means the center point of the COB transactions, and this is like a stock market thing. It's our little stock market. So though the COB has sort of stabilized early in last year, you find that it has creeped up again to 33,000 as at the end of fourth quarter. Looking at the transactions for the first 2 months of this year, it's still relatively high. Okay, so again, the measures implemented this year is targeted to deal with this situation, and this graph has to stabilize over the year. All right, in fact, the curve needs to go down All right, otherwise we may see more measures coming. All right, as far as COV is concerned. All right, so this is something very important to HDB at least. Okay, and if we look at it generally, the market volume, if we compare 2011 and 2012, this has gone up. Okay, and the market volume is stabilized at about 25,000 resale flats. Compared to years ago where we used to do 30,000 on the average a year, the market volume is now an average of about 25,000. Okay, so why is it so? Because there's a lot of new flats in the market, and which takes away quite a significant chunk, especially of the first-time buyers. Okay, so having seen the market situation today, let's try and understand what has driven up the resale market. Okay, why is it so high, despite the fact that HDB has introduced so many new flats in the recent years? Okay, this is the chart I'm talking about. If you look at the blue bar, these are the blue bar. It shows you the estimated number of flats each year that turns 5 years. When it turns 5 years, means you can sell in the open market. All right, and you find that since 2007, it is depreciating. Okay, getting less and less. Why is this so? Okay, why is this so? Because sometime around the year 2005, the HDB slowed down its building program of the new flats, right? Primarily because around that period, they were stuck with a lot of flats that were built much earlier and they were unsold. All right, so in those years, there were market estimates there were as many as 20 to 30,000 or even more of completed flats that were unsold. So the authority, the HDB has to slow down their building program in order that these flats that are unsold are cleared. But coincidentally, in those years, the population increased, right, with the influx of PRs, all right, and also economy started to grow. So when that happens, you find that HDB resale transactions also increase. So when you have less flats in the system for resale, it creates a situation what we call supply crunch. Okay, supply crunch means not enough resale flats in the market. Okay, and primarily this is caused by a slowdown, firstly in the HDB program. Okay, this impact is multiplied, okay, by certain government policies. That means the supply crunch become worsened, okay, when government tweaked the housing policy some years ago, around 2010. What happened? Okay, now if you can remember, okay, to cool the property market, MAS passed across the board cap on loan-to-value ratio. That means if I'm a current owner and I have an existing loan that I'm still servicing, if I want to buy a HDB flat before I sell my current flat, okay, which is a logical thing to do, I need to buy something before I sell, okay, I'm stuck. Because why? I can only get 60% loan. So that means I have to come out with 40% equity, plus the COV that I have to come out with. That's a lot of money. So a lot of people actually put off their plans to move, okay, within the HDB flat hierarchy. So when that happens, I simply don't sell my flat. I just stay status quo, right? So when that happens, you know, there's less flats for sale in the resale market. So that's supply crunch. Secondly, the government also have this policy that private property owners who buy HDB flat, all right, have to dispose of their private property within 6 months of taking possession of the HDB flat. Okay, this is intended to curb private property owners from buying HDB flats for investment. Okay, but the policy has its side effects. So if I'm a HDB homeowner, what will I be thinking if I want to buy private property? If I want to buy private property, I better hold on to my HDB. because if I sell my HDB, cannot come back anymore. Later on, if I upgraded to private property, I sold my HDB flat, now I want to buy back HDB, cannot. I will have to sell all my private property just to buy the HDB flat. So many people, okay, and especially those that can afford it, will start to hold on to their HDB flat. Don't sell, okay? If I can own two, I own two. So the revised Singaporean dream, okay, has become own two property. Okay, the private property is to stay, the HDB property can rent out. Alright, so there's this switch in mentality, because anyway HDB property can rent out and get very good return, 6 to 8% return, very much higher than private residential. So why not? So if you look at the next chart, it basically, the next news, this came out a couple of days ago. Straits Times reported that most new home buyers have HDB addresses. Okay, 9,300 units were sold in 2012 and 34% more than 2011. So more and more buyers of private property are with HDB addresses. Alright, so this, of course, not all of them will hold on to two properties, okay, but if, let's say, a certain percentage of them hold on, you will have actually less flats for sale in the resale market system, which then adds to the problem of the supply crunch. Okay, this is evidence, okay, in the charts 2009 to 2010, there's a big jump in approved HDB subletting cases, which tells us what everybody is holding on to their flat to rent out while holding two properties, right? And possible implication from there. Why is that a big jump? All the while you're doing 12 to 15,000, and suddenly you jump by another 12,000 units. So this is, and it stabilized around 27,000, which means, alright, there is a very high percentage of people who are holding on, okay, to their HDB for investment for a very simple reason. They kiasu, don't want to lose it, okay? This was pulled out from MND, Mr. Kor's blog, which basically shows the key demand drivers in the market. Okay, of course, this was some time ago. The ratios would have changed. There are significantly less first-timers in the system today who are buying resale flats. But so the resale market continues to be driven by people who are second-timers. That means they already own a HDB flat and they're buying for a second time. Singles, private property owners, and also PRs. So these will make up the key demand drivers in the market today. Okay, logically, who can pay more COV? Alright, of course, it's a private property owner. Okay, example, friend of mine, he stays in an old private property, okay, but because the private property market is also at an all-time high, he cashed out of his private property, sold it at 1.3 million. Okay, to him, he has 1.3 million. He bought his private property some time ago. He has a lot of cash on hand, even after paying back the bank, or rather his bank loan already cleared. So pay back CPF, he still got a lot of money. So these kind of people, when they go and buy HDB flat, okay, does COV bother them? No, it doesn't. Because what is a 80,000 COV, alright, when he has a huge cash outlay of at least more than $500,000, alright, in his hand. So people like this, when they are, that's why when they buy private property, when they buy HDB, they are able to bid. Okay. Case in point, the headline grabbing $1.01 million HDB flat that was transacted in Bishan. Okay. I spoke to HDB the other day. They look at all their records, only one. Okay, there's only one transaction. So do not get the idea that HDB flats are all transacting and above. Of course, being sold, breaking the 1 million mark, it grabs headlines. Okay, but you can possibly expect more headline grabbing numbers come next year. Okay, why? Because Pinnacle at Duxton will be able to sell in the resale market 2014. Okay, what do you think they will be selling at? Okay, if you have friends staying there, everyone is a potential millionaire, right? Yeah. So that's the long and short of it. Okay, so the $1 million question, is there going to be an oversupply? right? The way which the number of flats that's going to be launched and has been launched, and this is the committed number. That means by the end of this year, we would have 91,000 new flats in the system. All right, so is this going to cause HDB prices to come tumbling down? Okay, the answer is depends. Okay, why? Because we have this thing called the construction period. All right, it takes, basically if I launch a flat today, it takes 3 years to construct. Okay, even though MND has come, or the ministry has come out and say they will try and step up the building program and complete within 3 years. I think realistically 3-year construction period is realistic. So 3 years, the owner takes possession, has to stay 5 years before can sell in the resale market. So we're looking at a window of between 5 to 8 years before these new flats that can be sold in the resale market come into the system. So the question is, when all these flats will not flood the system at one time, that means HDB owners are usually one homeowner. Okay, if they sell, they have to buy something. All right, so they will not like all come into the market at the same time. All right, so therefore, if population grows in tandem, okay, we may not see oversupply. Okay, so this has to happen. This has to happen. So it's already in the news, all right? Even if it's not going to hit that figure, it will be around that figure, all right? I mean, it's very, this is a very sensitive topic and a lot of people feel very strongly about it, but the reality of it is this, we are dealing with a very efficient machinery, all right? And so if the planning parameters have already been set, all right, you don't hit there, you will hit around there. Okay, so it was going to happen anyway. Okay, so with the projection of population growth, remember, okay, the buyers of our HDB resale flats are PRs, singles, second timers. First timers, the government will take care of them, okay, using the BTO program. Okay, but when COV stabilize to acceptable level, maybe 10,000, 15,000, or even, you find that first timer will ask themselves this question: why do I want to wait 3 years to take delivery of my flat? Okay, if it's at acceptable level, I will go into the market. So a lot of them will actually come back into the market when COV stabilizes. So bottom line is what? Okay, do you expect HDB prices to come tumbling down in the future? I doubt. Okay, I doubt. It will be stabilized. Okay, stabilized is what we are gunning for. It's not. They do not want to see the price appreciate faster than economic growth. It has to run parallel. I think Minister Taman has come out to say, DPM Minister Taman has said recently in an interview that they want it to be run parallel, okay, to the economy. Okay, so impact of the latest measures, let me run through. Okay, we will start with this problem of the 60% loan-to-value ratio. So the industry has fed back to the government, and the government has taken heed of it. So recently in January, thankfully, they have removed this cap. Okay, so if you are existing HDB homeowner and you are intending to buy another HDB flat before you sell, or you are intending to upgrade into a condo which you buy directly from the developer, you have 80% loan-to-value ratio. You are no longer stuck with the 60% loan-to-value ratio on two conditions. Number one, you do not have an existing housing loan, and number two, you sign a letter of undertaking that you will sell your HDB flat, and you have to provide this letter of undertaking to the bank. Then they will allow you to lend 80% LTV. Secondly, there's an MSR cap for HDB buyers. Okay, meaning when you take a loan, they cap your mortgage servicing ratio based on your income. It cannot exceed 30% for bank loans, and if you are taking from the HDB, it cannot exceed 35%. Okay, what do you think this policy will do? Okay, recently we have experienced a lot of stories on the ground, or rather initial unhappiness. Prior to January, when the measures were implemented, I can actually afford to buy a bigger flat based on my income. Now with the cap, okay, you must understand resale price has not come down. Resale price is still at this level, but they kept my income. They kept my ability to service the loan. So now actually, when instead of being able to buy a bigger flat, I can only now buy a smaller flat. Alright, and you must understand this thing. Most HDB buyers buy because of a need. They need to be in a certain location, for example, near parents or near to certain schools, or they need a certain size flats to accommodate the growing family. So HDB buyers are not buying based on investment, but they're buying based on need. And if I need to be in a certain location, I will find means and ways of getting into that location. So if it means that if I cannot afford to buy a bigger flat, I will now have to buy a smaller flat. So this is going to hurt a lot of buyers from bigger flat into the smaller flat, the 3-room and 4-room flats. Okay, going forward, what do you think will happen to the price of 3-room and 4-room flats? Yeah, price will go up, right? Because now you have more buyers, instead of being able to buy big flats, now buy small flats. Okay, so this may have an undesired side effect. Okay, this is happening. Okay, the other one is ABSD. It's quite straightforward. There's a differentiation between Singaporeans and permanent residents. Okay, which the immediate side effect is that most PRs are now wait and see. Okay, shopping around. And I think sooner or later they will get used to the idea of having to pay another 5% more for the flats, and then they'll still buy. Okay, housing, okay, is a basic thing. If you have to stay, you have to stay. You have to buy, you have to buy. Okay, if it costs more, so be it. Okay, the change in treatment of PRs, they are not allowed to sublet their flat, and they must sell their flat if they buy a private property. Okay, so this is to make sure that PRs don't enjoy the same preferential treatment that we Singapore citizens have. Implication, Singapore citizens are the only people allowed to sublet their flat now. Okay, what do you think will happen to HDB rental? It will go up. Correct? What do you think will happen to the people who buy private property? Don't sell HDB. Right? Because the investment return will even be higher. Correct? Okay, so how? You open one door, you close another door. Okay, so priority for families with children, this is addressed to first-timers, so they are going to take away more first-timers. To balance this, they need to take away all the first-timers from the resale market. So more and more first-timers will buy HDB resale flat. But as I said, when the COV comes down to near zero or stabilize, you will find all these people come back into the resale market. Why? Immediate housing need. Don't need to wait 3 years. Okay? So all these I have talked about it already. Okay? And basically the intent is to prevent runaway resale prices. The market is still in its early days after the measures. What I want you to know is this: we need to watch the next 3 months very carefully. March, April, May. Traditionally, these are the most active months for property market, whether it's HDB or it's private. Okay, and if in these next 3 months the market is on a standstill, then we very well know what the direction the market is moving. But if these next 3 months we see business as usual or business very close to usual, then we know the impact of the market, the measures. All right. Okay, so PRs are not most affected as far as HDB flat is concerned. Hopefully, this will force them to release more HDBs supply into the resale market, because now cannot rent out already, so better sell right when you need it. Okay. First timers will be less first timers in the market, so this will lessen the demand and hopefully will help to stabilize resale prices. Okay. And so, what is our outlook this year? All right. I would hesitate to say the market will go up or come down. Okay, I will take the position that the prices will stabilize. Okay, and when we see the COVs coming down, that is a sign that the market is moderating. Right now it's at about 35,000. Okay, if it comes down to 20-something thousand in the next few quarters, then the market is actually stabilizing. COV is moderating. Will you see prices drop in a big way? No, it wouldn't, because we are still in the positive waters, economy is growing. population is growing, employment is full, all right, and interest rate is low. So this will continue to drive the market. And if you're intending to buy a HDB market today, you're buying in a stable environment. Should I sell? Well, the question is, the price is at an all-time high now. Okay, if you're in very big positive water, why not cash out and then go and look for opportunities? So that's my take, okay, on the outlook. I haven't finished yet. Okay, so now we will look at, I was told that I have to talk about some potential. Okay, so this will take another about five minutes. Okay, the people behind want me to talk faster. Okay, so where to look out for in the coming years? Okay, don't look at short term. You must look. In buying property today, you have to position for long term, medium to long term. So you ask yourself, where are the growth areas? Okay, so this year, Singapore is governed by the master plan. Okay, and before you buy any property in any location, it's a good practice to go into the URA website, click on master plan, and do a search of your location that you want to buy. And you will be able to see the master plan around the area. What is coming up, okay? What is the land across where you want to buy, what is this zone for, and you will know the potential of the area. So that is called doing your homework. Okay, so don't just listen to any other people. Do your own groundwork. Okay, and this year the master plan is up for review. Our current master plan is a 2008 version. Every 5 years, statutorily, we have to review the master plan. So you will find that over this year, more and more information will be released to you by the government. Pay attention to all this news, because this is the direction that will happen in the next 5 years. Okay, so every master plan is for 5 years. Okay, but in short, we can summarize what's going to happen. Okay, because we have this decentralization strategy. Okay, which was announced. I mean, it's not new, okay, but Minister Kaur actually spoke about this last weekend when he launched the Woodlands Regional Centre. There's a decentralization strategy, which means they want to spread out the population, bring jobs closer to home, and improve the save on traveling time. Because you must picture, by 2030 it's going to be very crowded, right? So you want to be as near to your place as possible, right? So minimize traveling time, stay as close to their place as possible. This is the strategy going forward. All right, it's not going to be everybody work in the CBD. It's now everybody decentralized. So where are all the decentralized places? Okay, so this is a broad concept of what it means by decentralization. We have a central business area, but we have what we call regional centers. This is an earlier map. Afterwards, I'll show you a later map. Some changes, but the concept is still the same. Okay, we have Jurong East, Woodlands, Tampines. Of course, now in future we will have Seletar. So you will have regional centers, you have sub-regional centers. All right, and so these regional centers will have commercial element, will have growth element. That means places of employment and housing around there. All right, so instead of everybody's mindset, I might be near the city, you should be near a regional center. All right, it should be near the regional center. So when you're near the regional center, it's as good as near the second tier CBD. All right. So what does that mean? Okay, you must prepare for the future, right? Now cars become so expensive, right? So must take MRT, right? So take MRT means what? You want to buy a home near MRT station, right? This is a given one. Buy a home near MRT station is convenient, easy to stay, easy for you to stay. You want to rent out also easier. Okay, so homes near MRT station will continue to command a premium, and by 2030, our rail network will be double of what it is today. So some people say, what's the big deal of being located near an MRT station? By 2030, nearly everybody will be staying near an MRT. Right? So you want to ask yourself this question, what if my house is not near an MRT? Jialat eh? Right? Because it become a must, no? Right? Okay, so second thing, homes in and around regional centers will command a premium. Okay, usually in a regional center or near a regional center, there will be both public housing and private housing. So if you can position yourself, all right, in or around regional centers. All right, so this is the latest map. If you go to the URA website, you can see this. All right, it has the inclusion of the 4th regional center, which is Seletar Regional Center, where all the aerospace industry is. Okay, so besides the central area, all right, there's all these regional centers. Okay, there's a saying, the city area will also get bigger and bigger. Okay, now places like, for example, the next big thing that happen will be in and around Bidadari area, because the government say they're going to launch new homes in Bidadari. So you will see a lot of project launches coming around Potong Pasir, Bidadari area and all that. So this is called city fringe now. Okay, I'm very sure by 2030, the whole city area will have expanded outwards. And for all you know, that area now, which we call city fringe, will be called the city. Okay, so I say I got home in the city area. So this sort of thing can happen, all right, over time. Okay, so in summary, 4 regional centers. This was the first, all right, started in 1992, very successful. So you find that homes in Tampines are very highly demanded, very easy to sell, command a premium. Okay, second next big thing is here. This will be the second CBD. Why? MND going to move to Jurong. Okay, so you take the cue from there. Okay, so this will be a very happening place. I stay around there. Okay. So it will take about 15 years for this whole picture to come together. Okay, so there's a lot of things going to happen in and around this area. All right, so homes around here will command a premium because this is the second CBD. All right, a lot of government officers will move there. Okay, Woodlands was launched last weekend. Go to URA website, you can read a lot about it. Now it's still at the feedback stage. You can feedback all you want, okay, about this, but this will be done over 10 to 15 years. All right, again, it provides employment housing opportunities close to the waterfront. Okay, fourth one is the Seletar Regional Center. The concrete master plan for this area is not up yet, but what's buzzing around there is aerospace industry, which employs a lot of people, and therefore rental potential. Okay, and homes will also be built around there. Okay, 2 sub-regional centers. This one is Alega Central. It's not new already, it's been launched for some time, but it's evolving. So homes around commercial centers will add value. Okay, we have your One North area, okay, where all the researchers and all that is. Okay, all this is not the financial industry, so the ups and downs of the economy don't really affect this area. This is where all the researchers and technology people they are. Okay, MediaCorp is going to move over there, all right, etc., etc. So around there, you will have all these homes, okay, which will be catering for the more intellectual population. Okay. Fringe centers, Kallang Riverside. Okay, actually the Kallang MRT station. Okay, just here. And then you see on both sides of the river, there's a lot of things happening. So again, homes around there, this is definitely going to be called city in 5 years' time. Okay, this is not even city fringe. Now it's city fringe, but this will be the city already. Okay, so the city is growing outwards. Same thing when you have a regional center, you will also expand outwards. So you want to be in or around the regional centers. Okay, and Novena Fringe Center, which is another one of the fringe centers. Okay, so again, don't forget Punggol. All right, a lot of things have happened in Punggol over the last couple of years, but to date, what is in Punggol is only 1/3 built. 1/3. There's still another 2/3 to build in Punggol, and this will happen over the next 10 to 15 years. There will be a lot more waterfront housing. Okay, a lot of it is HDB flats, right? So where on earth can you buy HDB flat on the waterfront? Punggol. Okay, so again, you know we're all crazy about water, right? So again, waterfront properties will command premium because the next place you can only buy waterfront property is probably the East Coast, West Coast, or Sentosa. All right, so Punggol is for waterfront housing. Okay, so that's all I have. this morning. I think time is up, so we'll probably chat again during the Q&A later. All right, thank you very much.